Hey guys, I'd like to talk about the upcoming French election. Well, it looks like Le Pen is most likely going to lose. She's really close to Macron, but she's trailing by a few percent, and it looks like a lot of the other parties are starting to throw their support behind Macron. So that doesn't, really bode well for Le Pen. But, even if she does loses, this is still a pretty big victory for her. Like a few years ago, they were a single digit party. And in not a very short amount of time, this fringe party is now the second party in votes, right? And, the two main parties that are typically in the running aren't even in the running anymore. That tells you that the people of France do want change. And they're just not really sure, who to choose from, either Le Pen or Macron, because they're both slightly different. Well, Le Pen is a lot different, but Macron is a little different, but he is still, pro EU, pro these things. So, he's going to keep pushing for that type of stuff. And, he will most likely win, but, he's just going to push the same stuff that has gotten France and has made the right wing parties more and more powerful. So, all that's going to happen is, during the next election, she's going to have even more support. And, she's either going to win by like a landslide, right? Because, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is crazy. And this is essentially what these people, Macron and all these people, are going to do. Like the terrorist attacks are going to continue to happen, right? And these will bolster her support as well. Because, of course, they would. Why wouldn't they? She doesn't even have to say anything. People will come out and be like, oh, they're exploiting these attacks. But no, you don't have to say anything because one party is proposing to have a solution, right? To say, hey, let's not let as many of these people in. And the other party is their solution is like, we're not being loving enough. We're not lovey dovey enough. It's like, if that were true, the majority of victims wouldn't be Muslim, right? Like 90% of the victims of these people, of ISIS, are other Muslims. So what are you saying? Like, that there's not enough love for Muslims in Muslim countries, right? So that doesn't really, it doesn't compute. So the only logical way to stem the amount of attacks is to, kick out suspected terrorists like she wants to do, deport a lot of people and not let some people in. That sounds harsh, but, what else are you going to do? And, when Macron keeps doing the same things when he gets elected, if he does, it's looking like he will. She has a small chance to win, but when he gets elected, yeah, he's just going to do the same thing. These attacks are not going to be normalized in France. They are somewhat, I guess, but when it's happening in your face in every day or every couple of months, it's going to have an effect, especially if you lose somebody close to you. And, if 100 people die in France, that's going to affect thousands of people because they all have friends and family, and that will change their perceptions. And these things have been pushing more support to Le Pen, and they will continue to happen. Anybody who thinks differently is not really paying attention. So don't be too distraught about her losing, and I don't expect her supporters to go out and riot in the streets like the left typically does. When they lose something. Like if you look in France right now, there are people already rioting because she's getting close to victory, right? Like these people are crybabies, and they can't handle a loss because you know their ideology, it's like a religion for them. And when you move away from their ideology, it's like they lose their shit. And that's why you can't, when you criticize their ideology, they also lose their shit because it's like you're criticizing their religion and they'll get up in your face and go nuts. So, this typical reaction of these types of people. And, that will just drive more support to Le Pen because the ones who are going out in the streets are still a minority of the left. The ones who want to go out and cause violence for other political views, you will drive away the centrists. in their party and the soft supporters to Le Pen, because her supporters are not doing that. It's the same what's going on in America, with Berkeley and the Antifa protests, and these people that come to events to attack people with different ideologies, right? It's because they believe, they're trying to stem fascism. And, nationalism and fascism are not the same thing. Caring about your country and the people within your country above other people, is kind of what most countries should be doing, right? You should be taking care of your own first, and then if you got extra, you can help other people, right? So it's not, it's not up to individual countries to take care of the rest of the world. Some people have to stand on their own 2 feet, and you can't be the world's breadbasket, right? And people are starting to realize that. They're starting to understand that sometimes just giving money to people isn't the solution. And things like the EU are just essentially doing that, right? Like, look at Greece, they go bankrupt, and that's why a lot of people want to leave, because there are some other countries in there not pulling their weight, and essentially other countries have to pay for them. Germany, UK, France, the ones who are predominantly the richest countries within the EU. So of course these countries are going to want to leave because they're getting a shitty deal, and the other countries are going to want to keep it because they're like, no, don't, we need our support system, right? But giving all your money away to people who are just going to waste it, eventually you're just going to have no money, and you're all going to be in the same boat. So it's stupid to continue doing the same things, and eventually the French people will realize this, and Le Pen will win the next election. I guarantee that. And every terrorist attack is going to increase her support, because she's the only one offering solutions. But, if you like my content, subscribe and have a great day. I'll see you later.